Hello, this is Hui. Welcome to watch my video Python scripting on Linux. In this short video, we're going to focus on the loading and the parse initial configure files. Many times we don't want hard coding our initial parameter, especially for the environment parameter into our Python script. We try to create an initial file or configure file and put the parameter into that files. Here is a classical environment setup file. For example, we can set up a app environment and dev, prod, UAT, QA, and app operating system, Linux, Unix, or Windows, and maximum process code, and the base directory, and the app description. This is like a global project configure files. So we try to not hard coding this into our Python script. Here is my test Python script. We can try to load this into our system. In this case, we try to, in my test Python, we try to run usage Python and configure files. So if the argument counting is not equal to, we just print our help message, our usage equal our program name and the configure files name, and we exit with error code 1. So when the initial command line checking, syntax checking, okay, we just open the file, which is the file name is the argument 1, is configure file name, and read only. And then we, for line by line, read this file. If the file starts with pound, it means command line. So in this case, we just skip this file. So if not equal to pound, we print a line. This is we created a match using the regular expression. So the regular match is a pattern. First is pattern is first part equal second part. So first part is the parameter, second part is the value of this parameter, and we just from the line we read the file, and these flags rem, match, and I. So if Python, the match is okay, we return into the M object. So we can use a parameter dictionary. We create a called PARM, and we can say it's I'm obj the group 1. Group 1 is first the left side of the equal sign, and the equal the value is the group 2, and the group 2 is the right side of equal, which is the value. And so finish the loading, we close the file. And then following, we just try to input the parameter to print the value to check what's we parse, the correct or not correct. So in this case, so here we just create another terminal. So here is the file. We just try to run our there. This is the configure file, and so you can see we skipped the first line, which is the command line, and we load all these parameters. So we can check our log directory. So you can see our log directory parsed correctly. So this is a typical when we load into the parameter separated into the Python script. Many times this is a command program to be used for the every program script in the project, so we can try not write this each time. So what we do, we can just create a function which we just write this into a function, which we create a param there, and we create a function, and which is load configure, and give the file name. And after that, we can just directly get from the function, and we can use the setup parameter, and get parameter, check parameter, and list parameters. So in this case, and all the we don't need to write each time. which is this code. So we can simply we can just delete all these files, and we don't need this one. We just import init like any module, because this module we just load the configure files. So after we check these files, we just say dot load configure, and what we say sys dot argv1, which is our file's name. So we load the file name, and we just list the parameter, and we can just list all the parameter we load into our dictionary. And after we get the same thing, we read from the terminal, and we just says init dot param x. So each times we start a program, we just import init and all these loading parameters as automatically into our program, and we can just directly use the parameter we just loaded. So we just save this, and let's so now let's try to run this again. So you can see where now we don't do it. We just import this initial module, and we just load this configure with the par name and list them. So now let's check the parameter we load and the log delay. So you can see our value is that. So we can easily separate our parameter, especially glob environment setup parameter, from the Python script. Hello, this is Hui. Thanks to watch my video. Hopefully this is useful, enjoyable. It's going to be great to have your feedback.